Hello. Writers are on a never-ending quest to catch readers' attention. Writers want readers to read what they have to say. How can you do that with your first paragraphs? I'm going to give you 6 ideas today. This is a workshop by me, Elma Schemenauer. I grew up on the prairie, so I call myself Elma Mary from the prairie. I'm the author of 70 plus books, and also the editor of many others. You can see them listed and other things about my career and about writing and reading in general on my website, and the address is there. You can find it also with the words Elma Mary from the prairie. First idea that you can use for you catching readers' attention in your first few paragraphs, prompt the readers to ask questions. Include something intriguing enough that they want to know more. Now, you don't want to be too intriguing or too puzzling, because then they may just give up. And so it's a fine line that you walk there. Here's a good example, couple good examples. South Dakota is a land of great faces and great places. And so does a lot in one short sentence, because we wonder, what are those faces? What are the places? So we want to read on and find out. Another example, for 2 weeks in mid-March 1895, a milk thief had been at work in Boston's 11th Precinct. Several well-filled milk cans disappeared from the doorsteps of houses, never to be recovered. Okay, so we wonder, who is stealing the milk, and how do they manage to do that? And as an aside here, you'll notice that the author has drawn in the information about the setting very nicely. Mid-March 1895, we know the place, Boston's 11th Precinct, and we know that it's probably a residential area in that part of the world. Number 2, give a hint of something bad coming. This can often draw readers in, and it's symbolized here by a snake. Here's an example. This is a journalist speaking. My discovery of terrorist cells operating in Canada coincided with Stephanie's request, Stephanie is his wife, that I move out. How ironic that the very thing that could propel my career into the stratosphere turned up just when my marriage was heading for the dumpster. Okay, something bad happening. The terrorist cells, we wonder what they're doing, how it could be affecting the citizens, causing harm to citizens, and we wonder about the marriage, whether that's going to work out or not, and then his career. So there's a lot there in just 2 sentences. Okay, instead of starting with a hint of something bad happening, you could actually start with something bad, like a natural or humanly created disaster. Here's an example. Walls of grief drifted over the city like a black aria. The mud brick dwellings burst with anguish as the sorrows swirled into the night desert. But the wind carried more than just the cries of mourning. They carried the stench of death. Fourth idea, start with action. And it can be somebody hanging on a rope like that, either going to climb up or going to slide down. We don't really know why, but it can be action like that, other kinds of action, plane crash, something like that. But it can be tricky because we don't know enough about the character to care about that character so much. And so somehow you have to make us care, you have to make us interested, and we don't really know enough about why this is happening, what is causing this action to happen. So it can work to start with action, but you'll have to give enough clear information and hopefully grab the reader's emotional interest in what's going to be happening. Here's an example of action right at the beginning. One morning at 9 o'clock, while we were having breakfast on the terrace of the Havana Riviera Hotel under a bright sun, a huge wave picked up several cars that were driving along the seawall or parked on the pavement and embedded one of them in the side of the hotel. Okay, That's action, all right. The huge wave picking up the cars and embedding one of them in the side of the hotel, and heaven knows what happened to the others. Probably crashed somewhere. So that's action, all right. But somehow, and this is Gabriel Garcia Marquez, quite a good writer, as we probably know. He does a good job of it. He gives us enough information. He gives us the setting, the terrace of the Havana Riviera Hotel. He gives us the time of day, morning at 9 o'clock, and even hints at who that there were several characters and they were having breakfast, and then they saw this happening. We're often told as writers not to make our sentences too long. In fact, I think 25 words. Usually when I'm writing, I try to keep it to 25 words or less, but I'm not sure how many there are in this sentence, but they're quite a lot. So you can have a very long sentence and it can work if you do it well. Another idea, introduce an image or symbol that is important to the piece of writing. This is in a Inukshuk, like what is built by northern peoples in Canada, and I think some other countries too, that have people living far up into the north, near the North Pole, and they use these symbols to indicate various things. And maybe you have an article or a story where a symbol, an Inukshuk, is important, so you can introduce it in the beginning of what you're writing. Here's an example. This is by Margaret Atwood from the Testaments, a novel. Only dead people are allowed to have statues, but I have been given one while still alive. Already I am petrified. That sentence about petrified is a sort of indicates an example of her humor. Petrified, she's been turned into stone by having a statue, but also maybe she's terrified. Petrified can mean very, very frightened also. We don't know for sure. We'd have to read on to know. This statue was a small token of appreciation for my many contributions, said the citation, which was read out by Aunt Vidala. Another idea, use your strongest writing ability in your starter. You can think about, as this person here is thinking, what are you best at? Action, conversation, creating a mood. If you can, if it fits your piece of writing, try to start with that strongest ability. All right, now it's your turn. Write a several paragraph starter using one or more of these ideas. 1, prompt readers to ask questions. 2, give a hint of something bad coming. 3, start with something bad, like a disaster. 4, start with action, but if you do that, give enough clear information about what's happening. 5, introduce an image or symbol that's important to the piece of writing. 6, consider using your strongest writing ability in your starter. Okay, this has been a talk by me, Elma Schemenauer, Elma Mary from the Prairie. There's my website. There's my YouTube channel, and there's my blog. And on all of these, there's information about reading and writing and publishing, that kind of thing. Okay, thank you very much for listening.